Okay, I'd like to call to order the Trumbull Housing Authority regular meeting of January 28th, 2025. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Barbara, roll call, please.
Kathy McGannon,
Here.
Laurel Anderson,
Here.
Sarah is not here. Charlene Peterson,
Here.
Maureen Bova.
Here.
Okay, first order of business, approval of the minutes of December 10th, and I have an error on there. It's 2024, not 2025. I jumped the gun a little.
Charlene makes a motion to approve. With
Charlotte,
correction.
thank you. Second? Maureen, was your hand up?
Yes.
Thank you. Any additions, deletions, discussion? Are we good? Can I take this by a unanimous, well, I don't have Sarah here. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and Sarah abstention. All right. Okay, report of the Director of Finance.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I have a update for the Trumbull Congregate tenant selection plan and their lease. They went out to the tenants after our meeting on December 9th on 2024. They have 30 days to submit any requests or comments to me, to Paulette, excuse me. They went out on January 3rd. They have until February 21st, where they'll meet in the dining room at the congregate to give their feedback. And then at the February meeting, we should be able to pass these for the congregate. So if there's any questions or anybody has any comments before that, you're welcome to get to me or Paulette. Okay?
And we should be able to put it on the February meeting, the selection plan and the lease for
That's
approval,
correct.
both of them.
Okay, and then that will bring us up to date. And for the congregate recertifications, we'll have a new lease and a new tenant selection plan that everybody, well, it should be on the same page for here and there. They're very similar. There's a little difference with the congregate because of services, but other than that, we'll have a little more cohesiveness between the two facilities and be able to follow that a little better. Tawny Fo has had some input into the tenant selection plan and the lease for the congregate. So I will run those by her as well to see if she has any further comment, but she was really helpful in designating certain terms and setting certain guidelines that she wanted to see it through the congregate. Okay.
Okay,
All right. Then I did send my updated list of the units and the dates to the commissioner, just kind of a background to what may or may not be needed when they were last renovated, the units here at the Henry Stearns, not at the Henry Stearns, at Stern Village. So if there's any questions on that, please let me know. We were able to get that done with the help of Jackie and the maintenance. And we will be updating that hopefully every quarter.
Yeah.
So any renovations, any new items that have been installed in the apartments, we can kind of keep a running list on what's being done and updated. So we'll have some kind of reference for everybody to look at. Supplies seem to be in order. We've had a couple of glitches with the certain things in the area for contract services that we've had to spend a little more money than we had planned. So that is in this budget. We're still working on the maintenance charge policy, and that should go out to the tenants after we look that over. We're going to have an in-house pricing schedule that we'll have to look over and make sure that that's up to date. And then that should be going out within the next month. And our application for the Stern Congregate is also still being worked on with Ann, Jackie, and myself to make sure that we have all the information we need on there. We've had to, and we're trying to refine it a little bit more because we found that we need more information, and every time we get a tenant or we've reviewed it, we think of something else that we might like to get in there, just so that we have a better understanding of who our application or applicant, thank you, is.
Anytime.
So hopefully that will be done soon too. And then if there's any other questions or anything you want me to go over besides that right now? Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Dawn? Are we okay?
How are you coming with the employee handbook?
Oh, that is actually in the hands of our staff right now. We went from about 30 pages to 122 pages. So I'm asking everybody to review that and give me some feedback, hopefully by the end of this week. And then I will be able to forward that to you as well for review, maybe even by the end of February. You should be able to review that as well. Very in-depth. I've looked at many other employee handbooks from the area in California, Delaware, Ohio, Connecticut. And they all had some pretty good information, but a little bit tighter on things that we haven't really ever addressed. So hopefully this will make all of our jobs a little bit easier. Okay.
One more thing, you had mentioned at the last meeting that you were working with Lisa on getting some decorative items for the congregate. Have we,
I've been working with Ann on that, and
I'm sorry, with Ann.
that's okay. And we've purchased,
Very, very splashy, very nice.
yeah.
It's in my report.
Okay, so Ann will be
come-
updating on
we
her
come-
report. But the tenants seem to really like that we're putting
Good.
some into the artwork on the walls. We're sprucing up the dining room a little bit,
Foyer.
and the foyer, the lobby, and they
Okay.
seem to be very happy. We've had some positive feedback from the tenants without even saying anything. They've come up to us and said how pleased they are with how things look. So some positives. We like.
Good.
We welcome tours if people want to see the artwork. You're welcome.
Yeah, I haven't been up in a while. I need to stop up.
Mhm.
No. Okay, any other questions for Dawn? All right, we'll move on to Ann and the report on the congregate.
Good evening. We have 31 units occupied. That's a rate of 86.11%. 5 units unoccupied. That's a vacancy rate of 13.89%. Right now, we have the rooms that there are 2 apartments that are within a couple of weeks of being occupied, 2M and 2T. 2M and one of the other now empty apartments were unexpected totally. One woman had to go to hospice on the heels of a gentleman deciding he wanted to move with his brother. Both good reasons, but both happened at the same time. We were not expecting that at all. The good news is that we have 2 very interested folks who are going to be moving into 2M and 2T, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. One of them has a lease signing on the 14th. The other, we're just still waiting for a few more documents, but we're giving her a deadline so we can move on if she doesn't come up with those documents. So the ones that are remaining unoccupied is 2H, which is, it was kept immaculately. The rehab should be minimal. So that
already done.
already done. It's done.
So it's ready, okay.
It's ready. So 2F and 2D and 2D has to be renovated. And excuse me. The problem with getting people in there as quickly as possible is just the time with because we have to give them enough time to get back to us. We have to call them 3 times. Are you still interested? I'm down to number 7 on the wait list. Out of the first 4 people, 3 had already moved on to other locations, so we just got 1. And they're going to be signing on the 14th. We had an interview today, just waiting for some more documents, and that would be that one would be occupied in a couple of weeks. Another interview tomorrow, Is someone trying to speak? No,
No,
okay.
no.
I have another interview tomorrow and the 7th, and they're very interested. And then the 7th on the waiting list, he doesn't have a phone, but I'm able to get to through his medical, provider, to get in touch with him, so I'll find out in the next day or so. But,
Oh.
Right.
and I constantly going through the wait list. Let's see who we can move on to, trying to get people to give us their decision as soon as they can without pushing, and then just move on. I'm placing calls daily to the folks on the waiting list, and like I said, we have to wait for the return calls to see if we can move forward.
Okay.
And the Barnum Engineering is in the process of replacing the smoke detectors and the pull cords. They're on track to finish the second floor this week and the first floor next week. And the tenants have been extremely considerate, flexible, and cooperative in this venture.
Good.
I didn't think I'd say that, but they were really great. And so, yes, so our activities, our residents meeting last month had a very large turnout, and that was good to talk back and forth. Last Wednesday, we celebrated National Popcorn Day with a popcorn trivia contest that resulted in tenants actually speaking with each other and socializing. Pretty remarkable things happening over there. We provided an assortment of individual bags of popcorn, and the event was a huge success. Many of the tenants told me how much they enjoyed the socializing and the popcorn. Next month, our activities will be celebrating on the 13th, of course, National Cheddar Cheese Day with small, I thought everyone was aware of that. With small charcuterie boards that I'm talking to Urata about, creating just different cheddars and some fruit. And of course, we will have trivia of cheddar. And again, encouraging like bonding and talking to each other. That's what I'm trying to get that going. And it's working right now. And on the 17th in, I forgot the other one. That's February, okay. We're also having National Tortilla Chip Day, which is, that they will enjoy that.
That
And
one I'm coming for.
I will send the list around, yep.
I'll bring a dip.
That sounds good. And you even don't have to socialize, you can just. That's what I used to over there, so it's great if you do. And then, of course, in March, we're gonna celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Let's see, I had one more thing to say.
You talked about before.
I have an Irish dancer that I can provide for you.
Excellent,
It
excellent.
it can't be on St. Patrick's Day because she's booked solid, but
Oh, that's fine.
we'll have her come in another time. I have a bagpiper too.
Great.
They're
And just,
children and grandchildren, so I can make them come.
yes, you can. And just one more note about the beautification. The beautification of the congregate is continuing and has gotten rave reviews from the tenants. As Dawn said, there is artwork on the walls of the kitchen, dining, I'm sorry. In the lobby, soon there will be artwork, perhaps different furniture and fake plants in the foyer to make the congregate look homey and welcoming. Fake just because I'm terrible at raising plants. And it's there's no light, and I'd rather have people feel welcome by looking happy plants than dead plants.
Yeah. I'm a good dead plant person. I can kill the artificial ones too. Believe me, I can. Do we still have that gift card from, what was it from? Bob's?
Yep, mhm.
We still have that. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you, Ann.
Mhm.
Can I ask a question, Kev?
Yep.
So, Anne, in general, I think you're doing a sensational job up there. I love the whole, beautification thing. It seems like people are getting along better.
Not too bad.
It just seems like that's really on the right track. Now comes the bad part. What is not on the right track are the vacancies.
Mhm.
It went up from 4 last month to 5 this month. I understand people are moving in, moving out, whatever. I'm gonna ask if you can work with, I think it's Jackie that's doing the filling of Stern Village, And perhaps you guys could put your heads together and try to figure out a faster way of moving this along. 5 empty units in the congregate has a trickle-down effect, not only in lost rent, but in loss,
Regular
what am I thinking of here, Jason?
subsidies, revenue.
Subsidy.
The subsidies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's really a total trickle down when on the congregate. It hurts the state funding, not just the rent.
Got it.
So, you know, if more units have to be renovated faster, you know, let's talk about that. But I think it's definitely going in the wrong direction in that it's now up to 5. I'm totally cognizant of people moving out, people getting sick, people, you know, you're dealing with a population that's challenged, but from a fiscal point of view, the congregate's doing pretty well, all things being equal. It's wonderful news for the most part, but that part of it, if you can, you know, I know you're new, so chat with, if Jackie's doing that for Stern Village, maybe you two could get together and
Definitely.
with a better system for the congregate to get things moving faster. The other question I have is in the treasurer's report, there was mention of the boiler being fixed. I thought that whole system was done within the last, I don't even know. Maureen, you were there. I can't-
Yes, it was done, well, Harry was still here. So it's about in 2017 or 2018, there was like $800,000 for that new boiler. I believe that was the amount, Jason, yeah.
Yep.
And so this is, well, when in December 2024, when we had them in to fix it.
November.
Whatever, they lost hot water. It was something about a valve, which I guess they go. I can't remember the specifics of the other ones, but as with you, Laurel, I was quite surprised that brand new boiler and doing all that work that we did. It was a bathroom, and that was part of the 800, so the boiler wasn't that much. That it had to be repaired to the amount. Now, given since we've had it done, the prices of everything have gone up, which is why we paid $8,000. It is not something that I am anticipating to be done when I talk to them. It was just one of those things. It was a valve and something else, a blower fan. Now, I don't know whether they're guaranteed. I really wanted to call Kent Lewis and find out how long it was guaranteed for. But boilers are for about 20 years, so we're safe that. But I do not, at least they told me, to anticipate any more major problems with it.
Well,
If
Maureen,
there is, then we've got a problem.
that was an $8,000 repair?
Yeah, about that, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, because on the weekend, and he had to bring in 2 men, it wasn't like it was call them up and they came over. They had to get the blower fan. I don't know what other part, but because it happened on the Saturday or Sunday, they could not get the parts. So it meant them coming on the weekend, intermittent hot water when they could, and then come back on Monday. We paid 2 men, double time and a half for Saturday and Sunday.
It's a holiday weekend.
And it was a holiday
Weekend.
weekend. It was Thanksgiving weekend. Now I remember the date. And that's why it was so high. Ordinarily, I don't think it would have been that high, but I'm telling you, judging from what people are charging us, I am not the least bit surprised at these bills we're getting. But it was just one of those things, and it happened on the weekend. I looked into it, and that's when I questioned, that's what I heard.
Also, the hot water had a little problem this week. So A and B came out twice for the same problem. So they came out today and they fixed the problem. So we will see another bill from A and B for the same problem. Am I correct, Ann?
You mean for the blower? Oh, no, that was,
No,
I thought they replaced the blower
it's a hot water. The congregate did not have hot water
again.
this week.
This week.
This week,
Well, then there's definitely something
It
wrong.
was the same part that they had to order it and they brought it back.
they bought it right.
So
So
hopefully it'll be.
Oh, so
under
hopefully
warranty.
we won't get charged for it
Right,
because
right.
it didn't last. Okay, I got you. Oh. Okay,
Okay, so we got that, within the time I've been on the board, we got a grant. And I think it was PAC Construction or something that worked on it.
Yes.
Pack
Was
group.
that not part of the boiler was not part of that work?
yes, it was. Don't you remember Julio or whatever his name
Right,
was
right.
and all those people here?
Okay,
Yeah.
can somebody please go back and look and see if that very enormously expensive piece of equipment is under some kind of warranty?
I'll do it.
I mean, for $8,000, this is insane.
The $8,000 was mainly for labor.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much the parts. It was the labor for a holiday weekend,
That's right.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
And
and
Monday
coming
was
back
fixed.
Monday.
That's right.
And that's what it was for.
Yep.
I kind of think we're being overcharged on a lot of these things, but we can't do anything about it if we're calling them and they come and those are their rates.
Okay,
Do we have a itemized bill?
Maintenance is calling, so there.
Do we have an itemized bill, the breakdown parts?
Yeah, we have it in the file. That's why I know that it's
Paulette,
posted
could you
for
scan,
hours.
Paulette, could you scan the bill, the itemized bill?
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
A and B it was, right?
Yeah, A and B.
Yeah. We're keeping them in business.
Oh, yes, we are.
okay.
Okay, where'd we leave, Lisa, anything more? Did we start you? I don't even know where we left off. Okay, oh, all right, we're done with the congregate, okay. Now it's the resident service coordinator. Go ahead, Lisa.
Thank you. I just have a few things. The Jewish Family Services mobile food pantry. They were at the village on December 12th. December 12th, there were 37 people that received food. On January 10th, there were 29 people that received food. Both months were decreased in attendance, and it was due to tenants having illnesses, people catching COVID, flu, norovirus, everything. And the extremely cold temperature, people didn't want to come out in a cold. So hopefully it will increase on in the coming months. And Jewish Family Services actually came on today, and I met with Jen Bernstein and gave her a tour of the outside. She wanted to see the cottages and everything. So it was really nice to actually come and visit us. So that was very nice. Clear Captions phone service conducted a lunch and learn on Tuesday, December 17th, and there were approximately 12 people in attendance. The presentation went well. One resident did contact the corporate office to inquire about getting a phone, and these are phones that are free for the hearing impaired. So it's very helpful because we have many residents that are hard of hearing that would benefit from having a phone like that. So we're hoping that they will, stick to getting one.
Are these the phones where they print out the dialogue? You can read the dialogue on, yeah,
Yeah.
you see them advertised on TV, yeah.
Yes, it shows shows it in writing and
Yes,
the font, so that
yes,
it's large as they need to. And it also, if the volume is higher, they can turn the volume up on it. So it's a very good phone. It's a very good service. So hopefully we'll have more people that will get one in the future.
okay.
I'm still assisting residents with benefits, attempting to prevent residents from being scammed, scheduling benefits and ADL assessments, and making referrals to the Connecticut Home Care Program for Elders, helping people understand their paperwork that they're receiving from the Department of Social Services, because their letters can be really contradictory in nature. One paragraph will say they're approved, next paragraph says they're denied. So, we have to, complete the puzzle. There's going to be a pre-Valentine's Day dinner, and that date is to be determined. I believe, I forgot the name of the sponsor. I'm sure Paul.
Trumbull helps.
Uh,
Trumbull Helps, and it's scheduled for February the 8th. I just received correspondence from Jeff Uncle, February the 8th.
Okay, February 8th. So that's on a Saturday, right? Okay. And Joe Violetta from Four Core will be conducting a presentation on the Medicare Advantage Plan open enrollment on Tuesday, February 11th at 12 noon, and lunch will be served. Dr. Amelia Morris will be conducting a presentation on seasonal depression, also known as
Lisa,
that.
I'm having, I don't know if anybody else is, but every
We
other.
are, yeah,
You know,
she's going in and out.
okay.
Is this better?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay. Where did you not hear?
No, you've got a Medicare and then Dr. Morris is coming for,
Right. Dr. Morris is coming to do a presentation on seasonal depression, the signs, the symptoms, and the treatment on Wednesday, February 26th at 10:30 a.m. And then I have Daniela Ramos from the National Healthcare Associates. She'll be conducting a presentation on the 10 warning signs of dementia. And that's Tuesday, March 11th at 12 noon, and lunch will be served. We're going to have Dawn again cooking for one with Dawn on Tuesday, March 27th at 11 a.m. for the first 20 people who sign up. And then Dr. Amelia Morris will be conducting a presentation on domestic violence sometime in March. The date will be determined. And that's my report.
and are these done in the community room or do you alternate between the congregate and the community room?
Well, what I'm doing right now is I'm having it at the community room, and all residents are invited to attend.
Okay,
You know, the congregate is very difficult to get people to come out, and you know, it like on Medicare during open enrollment, you know, the people that want to do presentations in the community, that's their busiest time of the year, that are signing people up for Medicare Part D plans, supplemental plans, Medicare Advantage plans. And the last time I had someone out, there were like 2 people there to attend the presentation, and it was the last day of open enrollment, December 7th. And you know, it
do we
was
put flyers in the congregate? Is it like, Anne, do you let them know that it's going on?
Robocall, a bin,
Yeah.
notice in their plastic bin,
Mailboxes.
the mailboxes on the bulletin board. And they'll ask me, you know, oh, when is there such and such? It passed, because
Do they not want to walk down? Is that the,
so lethargic, and they just don't care.
I
Yeah.
thought it was a problem.
and the actual dates and information is on the newsletter also.
okay,
So, and every single resident on property gets a copy of the newsletter.
okay.
Oh, and I just have
I
to
just want to make sure it's being well distributed and
definitely.
Get
they're
a
opting,
bullhorn,
yeah,
Yeah.
they're
walk
opting.
down the hall saying,
Yeah. And I just want to give a shout out to Jackie and thank Jackie. Jackie sent me a new program to learn how to do the newsletter with all the pictures and props and things of that sort. I just wanted to give her a shout out and just say thank you, and I appreciate her because it was really nice to learn, you know, a new talent. You know, she's the expert on it, so she taught me, so I'm very grateful.
Thank
Thank
you, Jackie. Okay, where am I?
Oh, anytime. It's me, Kathy.
It's you. We're up to you.
So just I had turned the computer when we were talking about the congregate. We're just a little bit ahead of Laurel. So I am already working with Anne and calling her people and scheduling interviews. So that way we're a little bit ahead of the process. And we're doing letters. So that way, once you got your third chance, you're withdrawn and no ifs, ands, or buts. So that way it's also covering us legally. So just a little bit ahead of you, Laurel. But for the Stern Village, we are at 90%, 90.32% occupied. We are at a 9.68 unoccupied. That takes us, actually, we have 4 lease signings coming up. And then I am in the process of waiting for paperwork because this time around, the applicants that we did receive applications back for did not meet deadlines. So we could not fulfill their applications, or some people did not respond at all. So that took us from getting 20 applications out to receiving 5. So now I was working ahead, a little bit ahead, and I thought I had a good timeline, but we're a little bit short this time around. So I'm working on sending 20 and then in 2 weeks, sending 20 more to try to stay ahead of the process. So we can, as soon as the unit becomes available, because it's ready, we can immediately house, or excuse me, interview then to house. The process is taking a little bit longer just to house people, but our application wait list has been decreasing rapidly. So I think last month, I don't remember the number I reported, but we're at 66 this month. So we do foresee opening the wait list this year sometime. No tentative date just yet, but we are having those conversations to open up, because once we get to 30, 25 around there, we will start posting that we're gonna go through the process again. I actually did a part 1 training this afternoon on how to use the portal through our database, which might save us a lot of trees. But if we go portal wise, everything will be automatic. Applicants will be able to check their status on the portal. It will no longer require any paper trail or anything like that. Although we can print everything and keep paper charts here, everything will be electronic. Everyone will have a generic code to them. They can follow along. So really great training that I did. And if we are gonna start doing any application processes this time around, I think if we go to the portal, it would benefit everyone. And not say, because a lot of the conversations we've been having recently is packages weren't, delivered to them. They don't know because they didn't get mail. So it's a lot of unknown. And it's like, okay, we send it out. The post carrier does what he or she are supposed to do. And then after that, we don't have control if you receive it or not. And our policy says you don't meet the deadline and you have to be withdrawn unless you want to go through the appeal process, which we haven't had that just yet. Work orders for this time around, we have 22 from January 1st of this year to now, presently. 19 of those are completed. From January 2024 to January 1st, 2024 to January 24th, 2025, our men have completed 666 work orders and 83 just remain uncompleted.
Part of those are from inspection.
And yes, there are a majority, I think about 20 that are still project work orders from inspections. So it's going to take a little bit more time, some repairing that needs to be done, but our tenants have to be scheduled out of their unit so that way our men can go in there and fix what needs to be fixed. But it's very minimal of that amount. Re-inspections were also completed in December, so we're all up to date. All units did a fabulous job. And that's my report. Any questions?
Anyone
Okay.
have any questions for Jack?
Jackie, how many units are currently being renovated?
Right now, I have the breakdown. So 7 of my units are ready. 3 of them are at the restoration project, so we're not able to touch. 4 of them are a little bit harder to do. Full rehabs are needed, like full rehabs, because they've been untouched 20 plus years. And then, yeah, like never touched. And then 4 of them our men can handle.
So I saw there was some unspent money.
Yep.
So we've already approved you using that, did we not?
I don't remember.
Like 19,000, I think, was on the treasurer's report.
Specifically,
$17,446 presently. Yeah.
7 and 9, I can't.
Yeah, I know. At this point, 2,000 is nothing. Yeah.
Okay, so, but am I right in remembering that we approved the use of that already? That you had that money that you could,
That's correct.
Yes.
okay. Are you all, is part of what those three, I think that you said are being rehabbed, is that where that money's going?
No, because that restoration project is going through CNA.
Okay, so you still have then $17,000 that you can use on the four that you said were
Our,
not,
our finance director is saying unless something else.
Yeah, unless something else comes up or we need something else for our units, refrigerators or because it can be,
Yeah.
it can be really expensive to renovate. One is about 20 grand.
No, 39,000.
I correct myself,
I'm
Laurel,
not a full rehab.
19,000.
I'm talking like cabinets or,
20.
yeah.
Yeah,
So we have to be, and Jason, go ahead.
I'm trying not to butt in. I recall, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I think where we left it was, yes, this money was free to be
units.
reinvested in the units,
Yeah.
but we didn't know how. The
Right.
next step was, um, what's the best way to use these funds? And can we get better quotes like for like partial rehabs or something along those lines? So I'm not sure what that decision tree has gone at that point. But that was my recollection.
Yeah, and because we've had some pretty big projects come up all of a sudden, we're kind of hanging back because if we need that money for something else that comes up, new toilets or some other things that have come up, we might have
Yeah,
to put them at back.
You can spend,
Yeah, so,
yeah.
so I get your drift. Right now, we're pretty solid with cash and we actually have $8,000 that we have to worry about spending. Um, um, so, I'm just wondering if you could look at one of those four
mhm,
that, so if one of those four is $15,000, say,
Mm-hmm. We
Let-
have,
let's think about spending that $15,000. Just look at, is it 19? Is that what you said, Paul?
yes, it's $19,161. I was looking at another figure for the Congress. But yeah,
I'm
19,000.
just wondering if you might want to reconsider. I get you, Dawn, and I applaud you for, trying to take care of that budgeting situation, but if 15,000 gets a unit back on the market,
Yeah, that's more money.
and then you still got that 4,000 left to buy the occasional, I hope, new stove or refrigerator or whatever. Could I just ask you to consider that if one of them could be rehabbed and not completely use the 19,000?
So is it suggested that we go to bid or do we contact Hiller since we know that the work is appropriate?
Right.
I'm not going to micromanage you on that one. I simply am wondering if I would like to get as many of your units,
if you want to send them, we have to.
and then you can worry about trying to get the people in.
Yeah, yeah.
At least you've got four, you say, that are sticky wickets. So one way or the other, we're going to have to come up with funding to get those four done.
Yeah,
One of them could be done for 15,000, say, and leave you with a little pot then for these appliances that seem to be breaking.
Mm.
Or maybe it's 12,000 or maybe it's 10,000. I don't know. I don't have a clue.
Okay.
But if you would consider that, because right now we actually seem to be in a pretty decent place with cash.
Okay.
Some
Yeah,
of-
some of our thinking, sorry, Jason, some of our thinking also was because when we had finalized the Excel sheet that we've created, right, was trying to put back into some of the tenants that stoves haven't been touched or refrigerators need changing because they've been there so long. So when we try to like think about how we want to spend the money, we're also trying to spend the money for the people that we have here to keep the longevity here, So that's why I think everything was kind of at a halt and trying to see where it was where we could spend it and make sense. So that just to like kind of like see where our brains are at.
Okay, so then further to that, if we're just letting 4 units sit there because for lack of money, could you work something up and come back to us for the next board meeting?
mm-hmm.
I don't,
Mark.
my heart of hearts, I don't want to take money out of savings, but you know what?
To get
letting
the rent, it might be worthwhile.
seems not to be a good business model. So if it means the board's got to bite the bullet and we need to use some of our reserve. I know Charlene, I feel exactly the same way you do, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this.
It's recorded.
Honestly to God, we've got to get units ready to be rented. I mean, I don't know how much per unit we're losing a year, but that's a lot of money.
And by getting money to rehab them, just say with Mark Hiller, they're done in a timely manner.
Yeah.
They're done much quicker than that we've been used to. And they're done, how can I say, better, and they're than our maintenance can do by having a professional come in, get them down, get them done. He seems, if he can get whatever he needs, only to take a week for an apartment.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks.
Okay, but our plan is to do some of them. And I guess Jason can agree or not agree that if we do a little bit at a time, we don't reach that threshold where we have to go out to bid. Right,
Yes.
because we do have that threshold where we have to bid if we go over a certain amount of money. If we spend, 2,000 on one thing to get it up and running, or 5,000, but if we want to spend that 15 or 19 in one unit, we have to go out to bid on it.
No.
Again, we do.
Yeah.
That's our policy.
Right.
So we can do it.
Yeah.
We can probably do a couple of the units spending under that
Partial.
threshold
Yeah.
and get the apartments up and running.
I think the likelihood is that the expenditure is going to be higher than
Yeah.
Laurel thinks,
was
is
the last
I
couple.
think really what it comes down to.
Mhm.
And perhaps that's fine, but I guess to Laurel's point, like it's maybe time for action. But yeah, I mean, I think, right, there was mold, right? That was one
Yeah.
thing, right? So everybody kind of like, oh, wait, what's going on here? And that kind of stuttered some things. But one other thing I maybe would add, and I apologize if I step on people's toes or whatever, is Congress has no money. Maybe, but the labor's kind of free. If the guys are gonna maybe concentrate on doing those units instead, because you're already paying them anyways, and you have them concentrate on getting those.
Yeah.
How many did you say? Three of those units needed work.
Mhm.
Um,
And
and they can't seem, and then instead have Hiller work on the ones that Village can actually pay for.
yeah.
I don't know. It would seem that you just have a vacancy problem, right? It's not a Village problem. It's not a Stern problem. It's kind of both. But Stern has limited resources. It can only really afford to have those guys do it. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's possible.
No, I think we've been able to,
That sounds like
well,
a
in the recent kind of weeks, especially because of what has been going on at the village. I think when I spoke with Renee last, I've kind of changed it where they're now back at the congregate. So like they try to divide their time as much as possible and try to split their guys. So right now there's one guy solely working on work orders, and then two of them are in the units trying to get them done fast. So I actually had them at a halt here just this past week to stop the unit that they were renovating at the village and to start focusing into the congregate. That's why one of the units Ann didn't know, I did close out just yesterday, and I said to her, we can start calling for that unit to be now vacant. So I think that I think it's just a switch though, right? So once they understand that something's been vacant, they can go in there immediately and stop whatever they're doing at the village. It's just that momentum, right? Once they're in there, they want to finish so that way it's out of their hair. Because there's so many other things going on. But I agree, like really focusing over there would be beneficial.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So have we decided that maybe if we have to, we're gonna go into money to get some money out to do the apartments?
Not yet,
Not yet.
not yet.
Okay. Not yet.
No, I think I invited them to come back to us at the next board meeting.
All right, okay,
A plan for it, but no, the purse is not open.
right, okay.
We're not open the floodgate.
Okay. Okay, Maureen, treasurer's report, please.
Got it all done. Now I can't find it. Yeah, this is the top one. I need the second one, but. Yeah. Okay, let me go. Yeah, that's the one I want. For the 6 month period ended December 31, 2024, I knew that. The authority had an operating gain before capital activity and depreciation of $71,271, of which $88,729 is attributable to Stern Village and a loss of $17,458 to the congregate. For Stern Village, operating results continue to include higher than budgeted vacancies, with total net rental revenues not meeting budget by $20,582. Despite the lower rental income, Stern Village is ahead of the budgeted gain by about $5,000. Contract costs are now overdue to various plumbing issues at the community room as well as resident units. For congregate, the loss is due to ongoing vacancies as well as significant maintenance repair, contract work in the last 2 months. Current vacancy rates have exhausted the budget already, and services revenue is $17,446 behind target. Management will look for additional DOH funding for extreme turnover, but funds are not guaranteed to be available. While there were significant maintenance costs for the boiler and hot water heater repair this month, costs overall are still largely within budgeted amounts, with a balanced budget possible if vacancies are addressed soon. As you can see with the tenant accounts receivable, as of 12/31/24, we have a few late rents in both the village and the congregate, over 1 month, 1 month or less, or over 1 month. Management continues to actively communicate the numerous small balances due for the village especially. The only significant rent balance is in the congregate and relates to inconsistent payments over the last few months from one resident, with the last 2 months going unpaid. Here we go. The overall cash position of the authority, including reserves, is $781,777, including the $19,161 of the SHP development funds pending use for unit remodeling. And below, now you have the synopsis of the year-to-date changes as of 12/21/24. Some were ahead, some were below, and a schedule of the operating cash activity for the period for the village and the congregate. The cash position for each property is within cash management amounts, with village likely to begin depositing to reserves now that funds have been stabilized. Congregate will likely not be able to fund reserves again this year. Respectfully submitted.
Questions, comments?
I had some questions. I scanned them and sent them to about Dawn and Jason and I don't know who else. I think Paulette. Anyway, that way I can not tie this up any later than we have to.
Okay. Okay, Paulette.
Okay, good evening, everyone. We had a meeting, the staff and Nico, he's the security supervisor. We had a meeting with Barnum last week. We were given a training in case the emergency or fire panels should go off, we would know how to handle. So the meeting was very, very productive. And so if anything should be not working well, we should know how to contact the fire department or know how to restart the fire in the emergency
Different
panels.
ones.
Now the heat pumps, that's a concern, that's a big concern. Anton's on call this week and he just came back to tell us that one unit, one tenant is having problems. She's been having problems with her heat pump. And it makes a huge noise, and she's trying to she has the heat on 88. I didn't realize it went that high because I don't like heat. But it went up, she put it on 88 and it's registering at like 75. So 75 degrees is too cold for her. So she has it on 88, but when she has it at that high temperature, it makes this strange noise. So the noise is annoying her. So the thing is, we may have to replace that one. There are additional 2 heat pumps that's making the same noise like this one as well. So it's 3 heat pumps that are not, you know, performing properly. So one resident is using her baseboard, but the thing is, Jennifer is going to try to help her with her UI bill because she is only using her baseboards to get, you know, comfort in her apartment. So this is what we're going through, and I was thinking that maybe we can get I have Tyler HVAC to go into these apartments to do a cleaning because they have not had any cleaning. I think that if we wait any longer, we're going to have additional problems trying to restore or just replace these heat pumps at $5,000 a piece. And that's going to be very costly to Trumbull Housing. So that's where we are right now with the heat pumps.
Okay, what's the status of the state emergency grant?
That's going to take a long time because just like with Barnum, I started that. It takes about 5 months for them to look at it and to approve it and get someone to sign it. So that's going to take a while.
Okay, I realize the maintenance is not going to be covered under the state grant, but I think we were trying to save money by having them do the work at the same time.
Yeah, can't do that.
But
I have a suggestion, take it for what it's worth. Why? Because they haven't been cleaned now, it's going on over a year and a half. And come, the spring, around the end of June or whatever, March, so it's gonna be 2 years they haven't been cleaned.
Right.
You cannot let them go that long without being cleaned. The units that she mentioned happen to have some residents that fool around with them a lot,
Yes.
so, that could be one of the reasons for these noises that I'm called over to a couple of apartments to set them for them. Now, my thing is, I don't think we should put off, we don't have to have them repaired, we don't have to have new hoses, I don't want them tilted and all that. Can we not spend some money to have them cleaned? Do you have an amount to have them cleaned? Just cleaned,
With this cleans like 32,000.
32,000. It's still cheaper than we were paying Heat Shop 2 years ago. We were paying him 34,
28.5.
28.5.
Yeah.
But he was raising it up because I heard the amount of 36,000 because he wanted to do it twice a year because we weren't doing it twice a year.
Right.
No,
Yeah,
we had
okay.
a contract for 3 years for 28.5.
All right.
Okay, once a year.
Yeah,
Basically,
but
right.
we can't go, just to let you know, you can't go without having your own boiler in your home and your furnace. You can't let it go that long without cleaning. We cannot let these heat pump go any longer without being cleaned. We have to make a decision, do we have them cleaned or just let them go till they all, stop? This is something I don't think we can put off too much longer and keep putting off from meeting to meeting. Just a suggestion.
I am concerned with the number of pumps that seem to be failing. Although we had one that we were told failed, and then they came back and fixed it and was working again.
Right.
Right. That's
So,
That's the same one that Anton went over there today.
okay,
The thing is, it goes off and on, off and on. And the thing is, her desire is having the heat up to 88. And it only comes out to be like in the 70s and she's still cold. So like Maureen said, with the 3 tenants we're talking about, they are pushing buttons, so therefore, you are messing up the cycle of the remote.
You're not only messing up the cycle, you're messing up all the components in there.
Yes,
They put them on, I want the dehumidifier on, I want the heat on, I don't want to be cold, but let's put the fan on so we circulate. In the meanwhile, they're getting cold air
yes,
without touching the air conditioning.
that's correct.
We have repeatedly asked them, set it and forget it. Push one button. You want to hire, you're only supposed to go up 1 to 2 degrees at a time when you push it up higher. You don't go from 70, I want it 78, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's not how that's not how it was explained to us. That's not how it was explained to the residents. You cannot just take this thing like your thermostat in your house. Remember the old round
Yeah.
ones? Well, you could put it to 72 and go up there and it would go on. You cannot do that with these.
Right.
And this is what they're doing.
Well, then maybe it isn't a cleaning situation. Maybe it's a.
So it's also the cleaning. You have
thermostat.
stuff coming out. Yeah, they haven't been done. They have to
Oh, can you take over for me for 1 minute?
be. Hmm?
Jason, where in the budget does these services fall?
Heating.
Heating.
Right.
Okay, the entire heating budget,
Mhm.
the entire heating budget was $34,500.
Yep.
Correct.
No.
Mhm.
Have we paid the other company at all this fiscal year?
No,
No.
we haven't had it done in over a year and a half. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
$27,958 left in the budget
Yep.
for heating.
Hmm. I can't find it now. Look.
No.
Right here. Right here.
Well, I can't. I'll go through these papers. Let me see.
Right here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some of these units could have been maintained, and you've already got $27,000 left of December, unless you spent a
Yeah.
fourth in January.
Well, I think we spent, I don't know whether you want to call it maintenance, but didn't you and I approved a unit for $5,000 in an emergency? Would that come out of the 27?
No,
No. All right. So we have $27,000 left to do this
but
in the budget. Left in the
repairs
budget.
come out of that, not full replacements. To be clear, right? So when you come in and you went in there to kind of refix, or I think they at one point I don't know, fixed the little switches on them or the little
Yeah.
filters on them. I mean, those
Yeah.
come out of that, but the full 5,000 or
No, it doesn't.
was
Okay.
before does not.
Okay. Well, then we have money left at least to call them and start, and all we have to do is take from this year's budget, maybe a little bit? No, we don't have
can't.
it done yet. Yeah,
Can't do
no.
it that way.
You do have that.
You have.
I
you have
still
what you'll
suggest we
get.
have it done.
You'd have to come back to us for the difference between the 27,000 and whatever the final contract
Mhm.
agreed is,
Mhm.
because now you will be over budget.
36?
And do we need to make sure we have the 3 bids to do that? Because we're going to be spending over the threshold again. Right?
Did you already get 3 bids?
That would be Paula.
Yes.
Round and round on this for
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
3 months now.
we do have the bids. We have 4 bids. And the thing is, the last one that we had was Tyler HVAC.
Don't mention names.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nothing
don't mention
negative.
it.
Okay,
Yeah, all
okay,
right.
sorry.
Okay.
So the last
That's
one we
okay.
had was good. We liked that one.
But how much was he? He was what,
Okay.
well,
he
executive
was-
session.
yeah, he was
Executive
good.
session.
The amount.
Less than the other 2,
Yes, yes,
with just cleaning.
just cleaning.
Okay, can I suggest, so we don't have to spend a lot more time and
All right.
7 o'clock?
Mhm.
That 27,000, 28 for all intents and purposes. You have $28,000.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay,
Mhm.
whatever your contract is, take a look at it. Come back to Kathy. If it's over, if it's over the 28,000, come back to Kathy and ask for a vote by the board, which we can do online again.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yep.
I mean, you've got the money. You've got, I would say 90% of the money is there, depending on what the latest bid is. And there's cash in the account, so I'm not worried about that.
Mhm.
Paulette, do you have more to report?
The only thing, I received something from Agency on Aging, and I think that what we have to do, we have to advocate what the new administration has done with the temporary pause on federal loans and grant programs.
Oh, yeah.
So they sent me a number to call the Congress in DC. So I think that we have to definitely do this because it states here that it's going to affect housing. It's going to affect nutrition for the schools, and also more than likely food for the elderly, those who are frail. It's not going to affect, right now, they're not sure about Medicaid, but who knows with him. The administration, Social Security so far, and it's not being affected right now, Social Security and Medicare. But the thing is, that's exempt right now from his conversation. But we really have to, the residents really have to advocate for themselves and for others. Because the thing is, we are just early into this new administration, and things are not looking well for any of us. And especially for those in housing, affects the minorities at large and also the low income. So I would get my tenants involved in this, to call DC, to talk to the Congress to see what they can do, write letters, because right now, once it affects housing and nutrition, that's a problem. And that's what we have to do, starting, I will talk to the tenants next week concerning this, get a letter to Congress and call. Because this is really, it's just not right.
Paulette, Jim Himes is our congressman in this district, and he's got a Bridgeport office. You might
Yes.
actually call and try to get an appointment. Bring a couple of your tenants with you.
Well, what
Yeah.
I can do, I can have them come out here.
Which they've done.
Yes,
Good. Okay.
have them come out here and let the tenants speak their mind and let them know how they feel, because right now, like I said, it affects the minorities and also affects the tenants who are low income.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to new business. Jason, do we need to plan, discuss, explore a rent increase for the congregate?
Yeah, I think to the very least of allowing and or directing staff to start the process. I think we've been discussing internally. I think it would make sense that, at this meeting right now, we're at least saying, we're pursuing X amount for a rent increase. Because they have to start the process.
Okay,
I've done some initial quick calculations, and I know the congregate's gonna have to be increased once again. Now, we could kind of play the game and only increase services, and then we don't have to kind of jump through the hoops. But that doesn't affect the fact that the tenants are going to get the increase either way. So we can make the administrative ease if we want to, but at the end of the day, it's about informing the residents and you know in all fairness, right? That that this increase is really out of our control, etc. And now this newest thing, it's possible you can't get an increase because there'll be no funding. I mean, I might be getting ahead of myself there, but I wouldn't be surprised. There were years when you couldn't get rent increases. So, and I don't know what you do there. So, that's probably not where we're at, but you never know. It's early in the process. So my main point was I think we have to get it in motion. And I know I talked to the staff, and they're looking at sending out initial letters like Monday.
okay.
But before they make those kind of indications, the board has to at least be made aware and or approve that process, you know, not necessarily an amount.
But approve the process of starting.
Yeah, the consideration of,
Consideration
I
of
mean,
it.
because again, maybe you disagree. We don't have to go up in rents on state elderly, I'm sorry, the village, technically. But the thought was we were going to do small ones every year to kind of keep the,
Right.
10 out 15. I don't know the number, but I think it's more of a conceptual conversation at this point.
Okay.
And then it not just to add, it will also add or give in the timeline, because now per state guidelines, we no longer have to give the residents, or excuse me, tenants 30 days, it's 45 days.
Right.
So when Jason and I were, speaking about it, getting the letters out on Monday would be beneficial. That way by February's meeting, we can already have that kind of conversation so we can start that process. So in March, we can start the research, so everything will be submitted by our May deadline. We're trying to stay ahead of the game here this year.
So you're sending out a generic letter,
Yeah,
with no amounts in it, nothing,
No,
just,
no.
just a.
Yep, just
notice of-
informing that there will be a meeting to speak about possibilities of rent
Possibility,
increases.
right.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Now, there was a vote taken by email to authorize an expenditure to replace a heat pump last month. FOI, it's not allowed. We can't do that. We didn't post that we were having a meeting by email. We didn't post a topic. So what I need to do retroactively is ask for a vote again to spend that $5,000 on that replacement heat pump. So if someone would make a motion, someone would second, we can vote on that motion.
Make a motion to approve the expenditure of $5,000 to replace a heat pump at Stern Village.
and I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Just trying to cover myself with FOI.
So, excuse me, Kathy, so do you
Yes.
guys need to vote on the discussion of the rent increase? Do you have to vote on that, Jason? Do they actually have to say we approve to, have a conversation about a rent increase for the congregate? Just so
So we
it's on
approve the
record?
process.
Yeah,
We
just,
approve the
so- yeah, just
Okay.
so that we have a motion and approval, and then it's on the record that we've started it.
Yes.
So, okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Could I have a motion to approve the start of the rent increase process for both the village and the congregate?
Yes.
Charlene
I'll
moves.
make a motion
Okay,
for rent increases for the village and the congregate.
Darlene motion and Maureen second. Okay, can I have an approval of that motion? All
Aye.
in favor? Okay,
Aye.
thank you. All right, we talked about the emergency repair funding request status. That's all been submitted, correct, Paulette?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, the heat pump cleaning update we talked about. Do we have any update on the lawsuit from back when Harriet was the one that nobody did anything about?
Right.
Say names
Right.
or amounts,
Yeah.
right?
Okay,
Okay.
right. I spoke with the attorney today, and the thing is, no news as of yet.
What you doing?
So there's 2 lawsuits. So no word as of yet, because he called me today.
Okay,
No news is good news, he told me.
We like that.
Yeah, we hope.
all right. Last thing on the, somebody have something?
Can you, in your next report to the board, fill us in a little bit about 2 lawsuits? I don't need to know now, we're running out of time, but if you could fill us in later.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, anybody on for public comments, Bill?
There aren't any attendees, but I don't know if Bill's listening.
Oh, Bill? Oh, hold on. He's doing his daddy job. Bill, do we have anybody on for public comment?
Sorry again.
little
That's okay.
bothering me.
That's okay.
There are no attendees at the moment.
There's no attendees. Okay. All right, Charlene,
I make a motion to adjourn.
And she's kosher.
someone second?
I second.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.